therefore to number our days, that we may attain a heart of wisdom. And may your favor, O God, be upon us. Establish the work of our hands, that it may long endure. Death has taken our beloved Beatrice, Mann. We grieve in our darkened world. In our silence there is lamentation. In our tears there is loneliness. Lost in our sorrow, may we find the presence of loving friends. Hear us, O God, be with us. For these love that united us in life, and which death cannot sever. For our companionship that we shared along life's path, and which continues through the tenderness of memory. For the gifts of her heart and mind that brought us joy and happiness, and is now a precious remembrance. For all these and more, we give our thanks to God. In this time of grief, we listen to the voice of our sacred scriptures that brings us the ever-new message of God's nearness. He tells us of our kinship with the Creator, in light as in darkness, in joy as in sorrow, in life as in death. And so we turn to the words of the Psalms always for comfort, from the 121st Psalm. Esa enai el heharim, me ayin yavo Ezri me im Adonai osa shamayim va'aretz, al yitain lemot raglecha, al yanum shorecha. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. I lift my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your guardian. God is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. God will guard you from all harm. God will guard your soul. You're going and coming now and forever. The 23rd Psalm is perhaps the most comforting of all of the Psalms because it reminds us we're not alone as we walk through the valley of the shadow of death. And so I want you to invite you to take your prayer folder, and we're going to read this together in English. Does everybody have one? And we're going to read this together. So your brother has one, but we can't get too close. There you go. And so we say together, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We extend our heartfelt condolences to Bee's family, to her loving children, to Skip and Kim, to Ron and Colleen, and to Bill and Barbara, and to her cherished grandchildren, to Ryan and Josie, Jason and Amber, Nathaniel, Casey and Holden, Jamie, Seth and Elizabeth, Jacqueline and Jay, and to her adored great-grandchildren, Owen, Samantha, and of course Sawyer. Adonai, Natan, Adonai, Lakach, Shem, Adonai, Mevorach. God has given and God has taken away. Blessed be the name of God. It is one of the most sacred things to do, to eulogize a life, a whole life. It is daunting, and for anyone who has ever done it, you realize the enormity of it. To eulogize a whole life, and what if that life also happens to occupy a whole century? Can any of us imagine a lifespan that reaches just under a year shy of 100, to have lived through different eras, which with progress in today's technology means traversing different worlds in many respects? Beatrice was a friend to all of us. She was our mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, and a wonderful daughter, younger sister, wife, and aunt. It is so painful, such a heartache especially, to lose those we love, to lose a parent, to lose a grandparent, an individual who had seen so much and lived so much. But we also come here today not only because we mourn Bee's passing, but to celebrate her life. She would want that. And if you close your eyes, you can visualize her in better days, exuding kindness. She would be so grateful that you are here to honor her. Beatrice Mann was all kindness. It's just who she was. And she graced the many lives of those she touched because of it. She wasn't larger than life. Few of us are, of course. She didn't need to be the center of attention. But the legacy she has left us with is somehow more enduring in some of the most important ways. We count on people like Beatrice to gently guide us, to role model how to lead a life well lived, so that when people like me leave us, we're left with a huge void, because they have led lives that nourish and cultivate our souls. We just want more. It feels so natural and good, like the air we breathe. And so while many would agree that Bee was blessed with many years, it's never really enough for those of us left behind. However long the span of a person's life, Judaism never diminishes the reality of death. Every life is precious, and in this way, Judaism views every death as tragic. Yet we know inevitably all that lives must die. Not any one of us can escape this fundamental reality of human existence. The circumstances of Bee's childhood were typical for the times. She was the youngest child of Sarah and Raphael Bagno, and the younger sister to her beloved Sylvia, who took care of her as older sisters often do, and with whom she remained close throughout the years. The Bagnos were close, and Bee was raised in a loving home. Bee's parents emigrated from Poland. They were part of the wave of Jewish immigrants who left Eastern Europe to escape anti-Semitic persecution and seek greater economic opportunities, though the streets of America were paved with grit and hard work rather than with gold. It was a struggle for most of the immigrants, and Raphael, who worked for the garment industry, was able to provide for his family. It was a happy childhood. Bee made friends easily and maintained some lifelong friendships. She was smart, always very social. Summers were spent at Lake Pawpaw in Michigan, and Bee's father would join his family for the weekends. Bee attended the University of Illinois for much of her undergraduate years, and it was during that time that her sorority sister, Dorothy, introduced her to Max Mann, a rather quiet, reserved individual. They met, I'm not sure we know because of the date when she was married, but I think they met in 1942, and if not 1943, and it is possible that sparks flew because they were married on February 14th, Valentine's Day in 1943, at the Starved Rock Lodge. Bee's parents had passed away sadly and prematurely while she was in her 20s, and as a war bride, she moved in to live with Max's parents while he shipped out to Italy for the war. Upon Max's return from Europe, life finally settled down, and for a time, Bee and Max lived on the South Side until moving to their home in Lincolnwood in 1954. A normalcy characterized their lives. It was suburban and quiet. Well, as quiet as it can be, raising 3 sons, first Skip, then Ron, and finally Boo. Bee's life revolved around her family and friends. She was a homemaker and a good one. She was a wonderful cook, known for her spaghetti, matzo ball soup, chicken liver both with and without eggshells included, roast turkey, and brisket. Family trips were mostly road trips to Nippersink over the summers. During evenings and on weekends, life was filled with your normal activities, and you recall a typical family scene with your father sitting in his lounge chair watching television, and your mother knitting by his side. Life was steady, stable, and good. The Mann family always included a rather large extended family, and they were close and together, often especially to celebrate Jewish holidays. Judaism was important to Bee. She observed Shabbat her way, making a good Shabbos dinner on Friday nights, and taking the 24 hours off from sunset on Friday evenings to sunset on Saturdays by refusing to do the laundry. Her claim to fame was singing Dayenu at the annual Pesach Seders, while everyone listened and also looked forward to watching Uncle Art's face turn red from eating too much horseradish. These were family traditions, and they were important to Bee. They're also part of your warm memories of of your mother and of your grandmother. Once her children were old enough and in high school, Bee returned to school to get her teaching certificate, enabling her to serve as a substitute teacher in the Chicago public schools. It was meaningful to her, a way for her to help others. Her social life with Max was active, always with Saturday nights out with other couples, sometimes going to each other's homes to play poker and for coffee and, which was a term, a phrase that was used, coffee and meant, I think it meant coffee and pastries. And when the kids were younger, Saturday night signaled hot dogs from the ranch on Devon, pizza from Martino's on Peterson, and the arrival of the Sunday Chicago trip every Saturday night. Bee was more than social. She was nurturing. She had a green thumb, focusing on her tomatoes, cucumbers, and raspberries. She had a good sense of humor and could readily roll with the punches, but if zingers came her way, she kindly returned the favor. She played mahjong with her friends, spoke to them and her sister daily, and together with her work, her social life and family, her life was full. When her children married, she and your father welcomed and embraced their in-law children as their own, Kim, Colleen, and Delane. May she rest in peace. When grandchildren came along, Bee and your father were overjoyed and loved all of them unconditionally, and when they were all young, she loved reading to them. She was interested in whatever their interests were, always involved in their lives. She would do anything for them, including the many Afghans she knitted for all of you. As Ryan would sometimes observe from his life in Hong Kong, the women he saw there often reminded him of his Grandma Bee. They were short, they wore little Asian-looking silk slippers, and they played mahjong just like his grandmother. With your father's death in 1996, Bee's life changed dramatically. It was a tremendous turning point which brought her much sadness for many years. But regardless of where she lived, her family remained central to her. She made sure to envelop herself in pictures of all of you. These last years with declining health were not easy for her, but her presence will continue to be felt in your photographs and in your memories, but mostly she made it into your hearts and into your souls. You will continue to take her with you wherever you go. It felt to many of us that Bee would live forever, but now, almost in an instant, she is gone. And theologically, at times such as this, we ask, why? Why such a master plan necessarily taking our loved ones away from us? Our tradition has no simple formula of either explanation or wisdom to offer. In the Torah, Moses states, Hanistarot L'Shem Eloheinu, the secret thing belongs to God. And later in the Bible, the prophet Isaiah teaches a similar message. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways, says the Lord. Bee lived her life fully and knew that whatever else happened, as long as she kept her family close, she had everything. 99 years is but a blink in the eyes of history, but to us, it's a generous lifespan. Bee would want you to remember her not with sadness, but to celebrate her life with joy, to picture her spending time with you, and to understand that even in the face of challenges life throws our way, she lived her life with meaning, love, and happiness. We know we can't hold on to those we love forever, but perhaps there is consolation when we are mindful of the preciousness of the moments in our lives made so memorable by people like Beatrice, Mann. We can dignify them and keep them ever present in our hearts by expressing and experiencing our gratitude for the moments we shared. We mark our lives with Shehechianu moments, many of which are created because of the people who grace our lives and touch us to the heart's core. This is who Bee was for many of us. I pray you will all hold on to your memories of her and continue to feel her presence, even as you mourn her absence. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may her memory always be for a blessing, and together we all say, Amen. And now I know, Ron, you would like to share some thoughts about your mother.
When I started to think about what to say about Mom, it was really hard. It was very hard. The last 15 to 20 years, really difficult on her, and as a result, also difficult on my brothers and I. She never really recovered from her dad's passing after quite a few years ago. Unfortunately, that's a picture of mom that's stuck in my mind right now. I don't want to think about those years, but I want to talk about them. So I'll focus on life before dad's passing. Let me tell you a little bit about mom. Money was always important to mom. She managed house finances, and through my parents' incomes were relatively modest. She knew how to stretch it. She knew all the tricks. As a kid, I'd go to the movies with 32 cents in my pocket, 25 cents for admission, and 7 cents for a slow book that would last through the double feature. She loved shoes, and twice a year she'd leave first thing in the morning for Old Orchard. The shoe stores were having their biannual display sample sales. She'd come home with 15 to 20 pairs of shoes. It cost her $2 a pair. She might have had size 5 feet, but for $2, she damn well squeezed into a size 4. Nevertheless, there was a method to her madness. Both of my brothers and I graduated from college debt-free. She was also able to pay for her own care, a substantial amount until the final few months of her life. I think there's a message there. Mom cared deeply about her friends, and she had many. She had many childhood friends who she kept up with throughout her life. She probably spoke to her best friend Muriel every day. We saw Muriel and her family frequently, and I used to think they were cousins. She also had her neighborhood friends, and I remember her with wild mahjong games at our house, with lots of banter and high-pitched laughter. The games went into the wee hours of the morning, keeping us up. These ladies knew how to have a good time. But mostly Mom loved family. Although she talked frequently about her happy childhood. Mom lost both her parents when she was in her early 20s. Her parents were gone, and her first cousins were spread across the country. She and her sister Sylvia attached themselves to each other like glue. They would talk on the phone several times a day and shared everything. In our house, we were taught never to answer the phone until it rang twice. I thought this was just normal phone etiquette. Turns out that Mom and Sil had different call plans. It was less costly for Mom to call Sil than vice versa. So they had a system. When Sil wanted to talk, she'd send the signal, ring once, and hang up. Mom would call her back. That's why we waited for the second ring. To this day, I'm surprised when someone picks up on the first ring. Don't they know anything? Mom also found great joy and comfort in my dad's side of the family. My Grandpa Charlie and Dad's sisters, Dorothy and Faye, and their families became something much more than in-laws to my mom. They were her very own. Mom deserves a lot of credit for keeping these families tight. All three families had moved to Lincolnwood, and we remained very close. We would travel with them, go to museums, and always gather for the Jewish holidays. When Mom hosted, the table was set with the best plates, glassware, and silverware. Passover would be very different without her leading us in Diana. Almost done. Finally, there are the grandchildren. There were 7 altogether, and all were such a delight to her. Not to suggest that there were any favorites, she loved them all equally. And with 3 sons and the first 2 grandchildren being boys, I think the eventual sprinkling of 3 granddaughters into the mix brought a special new joy to Mom. These are the things I would try to remember. Overall, I think Mom got in about 75 to 80 happy years. No matter how you look at it, that ain't bad.
Thank you. I have a reading. It's a poem that was written by Rabbi Morris Adler. Zichrono livracha, may his memory always be for a blessing. Shall I cry out in anger, O God, because your gifts are mine but for a while? Shall I forget the blessing of health the moment it gives way to illness and pain? Shall I be ungrateful for the moments of laughter, the seasons of joy, the days of gladness and festivity, when a fate beyond my understanding takes from me friends and kin, whom I have cherished and leaves me bereft of shining presences that have lit my way through years of companionship and affection? When tears cloud my eyes and darken the world and my heart is heavy within me, shall I blot from the mind the love I have known and in which I have rejoiced? Shall I grieve for a youth that is gone once my hair is gray and my shoulders bent and forget days of vibrancy and power? Shall I, in days of adversity, fail to recall the hours of joy and glory you once granted me? Shall the time of darkness put out forever the glow of the light in which I once walked? Give me the vision, O Lord, to see and feel that embedded deep in each of your gifts is a core of eternity, undiminished and bright, an eternity that survives the dread hours of affliction and misery. Those I have loved, though now beyond my view, have given form and quality to my life, and they live on unfailingly, feeding my heart and mind and imagination. They have led me into the wide universe I continue to inhabit, and their presence is more vital to me than their absence. What you give, O Lord, you do not take away, and bounties once granted shed their radiance evermore. Within me, your love and vision, now woven deep into the texture of my being, live and will be mine forever. The El Malay is Judaism's memorial prayer, and you have the translation of it in English, of course, in your prayer folder. I will say it first in Hebrew, and then we will say it together in English. Would you please rise? El Malay Rachamim Shachem Bamromim Hamsei Menucha Nichona Tachta Kafei Hashchina Im Kedoshim Utahorim Kazor Harakia Mazhirim Et Nishmat Beatrice Bat Raphael Vasara Shahalcha Le'olama Bal Harachamim Yastireha Seter Kenafav Le'olamim Vitzor Bitor HaChayim Et Nishmata Adonai Nachalata V'tanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkava V'nomar Amen. And we say together, compassionate God, eternal spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Beatrice, Mann, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in your eternal presence, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace. And let us all say, Amen. So we're going to start the burial service.
Before they lower the cross. Gentlemen, to the three of you, this is for Israel. One that's not going to put a little bit of the Star of David. That way it won't blow away. So over here on your back tree. Star of David, that's
Okay, Lloyd, I have two things first. Hatzur Tamim Pa'alo Ki Chol Derachav Mishpat El Emunah Ve'en Avel Tzadik V'Yasharhu Hatzur Tamim B'Chol Poel Mi Omar Lo Ma Tifla. God is sure, our immovable rock. All God's work is upright. Who can say, what is it that you do? The Eternal governs what is above and what is below, overseeing both the valleys of death and the heights of life. God is sure, our immovable rock. Who can say to God, what will you do? You are righteous in your dealings in both death and life, and every soul is in your trust. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar etchem b'tzalmo. We praise you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who forms us in the divine image, who nourishes and sustains us in your goodness, who causes all of us to die, and who implants immortal life within us. Baruch atah Adonai Dayan ha'emet. We praise you, O God, the judge of truth. many reasons. Traditionally, we believed that the Kaddish Yatom has the power to redeem the soul of the deceased. I think that what the Kaddish really addresses is not death at all. You won't see anything about mourning or death when we recite Kaddish. What you'll see is that we're talking about the sanctification of God's name. And the way that we sanctify God's name is through the way that we live, through our behavior. And certainly Bebe was a role model for this. What she would want for all of us to do is to continue to sanctify God's name with the legacy that she has left us with through the good deeds that we do in our lives. And so we cite the mourner's Kaddish together. If you don't know it, most of the words are Arabic. If you don't know it, then whenever you hear us say the word Be'imru, just say Amen, and it will be as if you said it. And so we begin. Yikadal, V'yikadash, Shemei Rabba, B'yalma, Divrach, Yute, V'yamlech, Machute, V'chayechon, V'yomechon, V'chayetechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, Bizman, Kari, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba, Mevarach, Le'olam, Olmei Hamayah. Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yipa'ar, V'yiromam, V'yitnaseh. V'yithadar, V'yaleh, V'yhalal, Shmei Dekudashah, B'richu. Le'elah min kol birkata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, ta'amiran b'yalma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Useh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. May God grant peace to those who mourn, and comfort to all of our brothers. Let us once again say, Amen. So I know, Skip, Bill, and you have ribbons on you. And so the Shiva period officially begins with the recitation of Kaddish. And so we're heartily perform this act of kriya to the best of your ability. Please repeat these words after me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Dayan ha'emet. Amen. Praise to you, O Lord our God, the judge of the truth. Please turn to the best of your ability. And the last thing that we do is not required by Jewish law. It's a minhag, it's custom, and it is our custom to shovel in, and today we're doing it in a modified way, but 3 shovels full of holy soil, which is more soil. And it's an act of kindness and a way of honoring. It is considered to be one of the And so you might ask, why do we do this? Why do we do this sometimes? And there's many interpretations, but the one that makes the most sense to me is that the first time you do something, it may be an accident. The second time you do something, you may not be so sure. But the third time you do it, you know that you're doing it with full intentionality. And so everyone, we have enough cups for everyone? Yes? So for everyone who would like to do this, please proceed to the grave. And one cup. Yes? And fill it with
device that automatically pushes people away from you. It's like a force field.
Okay, so on behalf of, okay. So on behalf of family members, we're going to do this. Bill is going to shovel and reshuffle skull on behalf of all family members that couldn't be here.
Why don't you join their union?
Thank you, and this concludes our